It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Today is one of those days where I am completely distracted. So if you're not aware, because I've been doing intermittent fasting for many, many years, this show comes right in between my only two meals of the day. I have my lunch every afternoon at 4 o'clock once I get home from the radio station after doing noon to 3 with John Phillips. And I eat my lunch. I get ready for this show. And I'm usually not thinking about dinner because I just had my lunch. But not today. Today's one of those days where I've been looking forward to my dinner not all day, maybe all week. Because tonight at my house is going to be a steak night. And a steak night is always worth a celebration. It's almost like that's the occasion in itself. Now, we don't eat steak every week, although I'd love to. We don't eat steak usually unless it's some special occasion. And every time we have steak, it's a good night. You know it's going to be a very good night. In fact, in the nearly 12 years I've been with my wife, we have had so many incredible steak nights. In fact, the first time she ever made me a steak was, I think, the first Valentine's Day we ever spent together. When I went, it was the first time I went over to her house, and I got to meet her dog, so I ended up becoming very close with over the years. Now we have two of our own dogs together. But she cooked me an Omaha Steaks. I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was a flat iron. Maybe it was a top sirloin, but it was delicious. And, you know, I wasn't a steak aficionado. You know, I grew up in a household where you bought a cheap steak and you dressed it up with A1 or Heinz 57. But the way my wife made a steak, oh boy, you would not even think to need steak sauce. Because she does a little combination of like the Jamie Oliver or the Gordon Ramsay, where first off, you salt and pepper that steak heavily because you want a nice crust. You cook that thing on a high heat pan, preferably cast iron. Everyone should have cast iron. I firmly believe that. And if you think cast iron is hard to clean, it's not. It's actually, in my opinion, easier to clean than almost any other pan because it is such a strong material that being cast iron, you can scrub it with what I like to call chainmail and pretty much everything comes off. The trick is you don't use soap and you make sure to heat it back up on the stove to dry up all the water and so it doesn't rust. But cast iron gets to such a high heat, it is an essential, especially if you're a steak person. So she will get the steak all seasoned, get the cast iron nice and hot with a high heat oil. We like to start with oil just because it's got that high smoke point. You know, that brand Graza that you're seeing everywhere, they've got two different high heat oils, the Sizzle or the Frizzle. If you're doing a steak for 8 to 10 minutes, you probably want the Frizzle or avocado oil, something with a really high heat. We don't mess around with seed oils anymore. So if you're doing canola, apparently there's some reason why that's not healthy. So stick with avocado oil, which is neutral, or high heat olive oil. That is a great way to go. And then she will sear, flip every minute. After a few minutes, she'll throw in a couple of pats of butter. Then she'll throw in some crushed garlic and start basting the steaks while they're cooking on that cast iron in the garlic and butter. So with a spoon, while she's holding the cast iron with an oven mitt, she is just scooping the butter, scooping the butter, scooping the butter. Oh, and it makes such a difference. Then, when she finishes the steak, she takes it off, puts it on a rest plate, and then there's a pan full of this butter, oil, garlic mixture. She puts an entire package of fresh thyme in there and just lets that fry up for not even 5 seconds, and then puts that on top of the steaks on a rest plate with more pats of butter. Let that sit for 10 minutes, and then you're ready to present the most ultimate steak. And you can do this with a lot of different kinds of steak, but for the last many years, the cut of steak that I think is at least my favorite. I'm not going to say the best because taste is subjective, but my favorite cut of steak, and if I find somebody that has it, is the flat iron. I love the flat iron because it's not the most expensive cut. It is leaner than something like a ribeye, which can be just a little too fatty for me personally, but I love the way that it cooks. If you get one that's marbled just right, more on that in just a second, you're going to have something that you can really get great tenderness out of, great flavor, and they're usually not huge pieces. Now, where do you get flat irons? There's a few different places. I'll tell you right off the bat, if you live in the San Fernando Valley, one of the best meat markets is in the western edge of the San Fernando Valley. Jim's Fallbrook Meat Market on Fallbrook. That is a great place to get all kinds of steaks. They don't always have flat iron, but you can always find something solid there. And usually some nice prime meat, some nice prime New Yorks, ribeyes as well. But for many years, we were getting our flat irons from Snake River Farms. You've probably seen them advertised to you on Facebook or Instagram. They're up in maybe Idaho, somewhere like that. And they do American Wagyu. And if you don't know what Wagyu is, because a lot of people get Wagyu and Kobe mixed up. Kobe is where they're like massaging the cows. That's not Wagyu. Wagyu is a special grade of fat marbling that's actually higher than USDA prime. So this was started in Japan, but then Australia started doing it, and now America's doing it. So when you see Wagyu, the reason that you're paying more for that is because the marbling is even better than prime. And depending on where you're getting it from, it's not necessarily that much more expensive, depending on the farm. So Snake River Farms used to sell, it was maybe like $70, you'd get a 2.5 pound slab of flat iron. So you could cut into 5 half pound steaks. Lately, that got a little shrinkflationed where the same $70 was getting you a 1.5 pound slab, and I guess it varied. But the other thing with that is it comes to your house frozen, which totally fine with that. But because it's in a big slab, you pretty much have got to figure out how to use all those pieces. So if it's a 2 pound slab, well, that's going to be 4 steaks. Are we doing dinner for 4 people? And that's usually how we would make it work. But very recently, we discovered something new. And this is what I'm really, really, really excited about. See, we are on this new diet program. It's something I'm doing for our sister station up on KSFO, where it's intermittent fasting with, a specific diet plan where it's lean proteins and vegetables and fruits, and you do that twice a day. It's actually working really well for me. I'm down about 12.5 pounds in the last 2.5 weeks, so I'm very excited about it. If you want to look into it, it's Abundant Life Weight Loss up in the Bay Area, but I do it all remotely. Regardless, one of the things they tell you that you should have is lean steak. And I'm like, okay, more excuses for steak. So I just happened to pop in because I was either going to do an Instacart order or call Jim's to see if they had any flat irons. Wild Fork, which is a chain that I actually discovered on this show when someone called in and said, hey, have you ever discovered Wild Fork? Wild Fork is great. And Wild Fork now has a location in Encino. They're all over the place now. And their whole thing is all the meat is frozen and you get a little cheaper. They do have flat irons and they're pretty good, but they don't have Wagyu flat irons. So I was just curious. This is about 2 weeks ago because we were preparing for a steak night for our neighbors because it was our neighbor's birthday. And I just happened to type in to Instacart because you know what you can do on Instacart? You can either pick the grocery store or you can pick, just search for an item and it'll tell you if they have it at certain grocery stores. And, you know, I type in just to see what would happen. Wagyu flat iron. Does anybody, any supermarket chain that I'm not aware of, whether it be Pavilions or Whole Foods or Gelson's or any of the places that are on Instacart, do any of them have a Wagyu flat iron? And something popped up. And it said, grass-fed Wagyu flat iron. And I was like, oh my, where is this? Lazy Acres. I had never heard of Lazy Acres before. I was wondering if this was like some kind of ghost kitchen or some kind of ghost grocery store, but no, it's a real place. There's not a whole lot of locations in Southern California that I was aware of. Now I know that there are more, but the closest one to me is in Los Feliz. It's off of Franklin and Western. And I'm like, oh, they'll deliver to me on Insta? So I'm like, okay, let's see if this works. I go ahead and put in, I want to see, get me some of these 8-ounce portions of Wagyu grass-fed flat iron. And I put in the order. The shopper is going in there and shopping. And almost immediately, I get a notification, oh, they're out of that. Is top sirloin okay? And top sirloin was fine. Top sirloin was okay. And we tried one of those top sirloins, and it was great. But in the back of my head, I was wondering, well, maybe they were just sold out that day. Or maybe the shopper didn't realize that flat iron is a different thing than top sirloin. So a week later, the day of when we're doing this steak dinner for our friends, I got an idea in my head. Why don't we drive down there? It's a Saturday at 3 o'clock. We usually don't like to venture outside of the valley, but this market seems kind of cool. Never heard of it. The prices look reasonable. So we drive all the way from the San Fernando Valley to Los Feliz to go to a grocery store. And it was worth it. Why? Because I went back to the meat section and I saw all of these pre-packaged steaks from a farm called First Light Farms. They're out of New Zealand and they're a big distributor for this market, Lazy Acres. And what do I see? I see a whole bunch of packages of grass-fed Wagyu flat iron steaks at this grocery store. Might have gone a little crazy. I think we bought 5. Because they're in perfect 8-ounce packages, which is like the perfect portion for what we're doing on this meal plan. And you can freeze them, obviously. And the price point was crazy. You know, I expected I pay for maybe $20 a steak. It was like $12. I don't know how they're doing this, but it was very, very, very exciting. So we did those steaks because it was our friend's birthday. The way that my wife makes steak, I told you, the cast iron, the butter, the garlic, the thyme. Pretty darn incredible. We're doing meal prepping this week. And one of the things we decided to meal prep was to do steak on the grill, because one of the things we're trying to do is not do a lot of oil, not really do butter, no added fats if we can help it. Like oil sprays are okay. And that Graza oil spray they make, that's really good. But I was like, you know, I've got this new grill, the solar infrared grill. You've heard me do the spots here. It's great. I love it. I had yet to do a steak on it. And so first we had tried the top sirloins that we got the week before as a meal prep for, hey, we'll have steak and maybe we'll do like a coleslaw and we'll do some barbecue sauce, a sugar-free barbecue sauce, but still. Tried that. And I actually had a guide on my grill of how to do a flat iron steak because this is a very high heat grill. The thing with that grill is it gets up to 1,000 degrees in the first 3 minutes. You're not sitting there 20 minutes. So I put the steaks on and it tells me to go 2.5 minutes high heat on each side, 3 minutes low heat on each side. And they came out really well for top sirloin. You know, we sliced it up, tossed it in barbecue sauce. It was great. But we also were like, why don't we try seeing what it's like to grill one of these flat irons? And this will be our make-ahead food for, I think this was going to be Wednesday. And so I get the grill going. By the way, I'm getting to the point where, because I haven't grilled steak much in my life, but now I'm really playing with grill marks and making sure that I'm putting the steak almost diagonal on the grill. And so when I flip it, I rotate it so I'm getting really nice hash marks. And the flat iron's different cut than top sirloin. It's a little thinner. So I'm like, let me just see what happens. I'm going to go 2 minutes on high heat on each side, go down to the low heat, 3 minutes on each side. And the last minute, I'm just going to do a little sear on the sides. Got that done on the grill in 10 minutes. Let it rest. We're going to slice it so we could divide the portions for our lunches that day. And the idea was, oh, well, we'll put a little ramekin on barbecue sauce, and that'll be something to dip it because we're probably going to have the steak cold. It's lunch the next day. That Wagyu flat iron on the grill with just salt and pepper and no oil, no butter, no fat, no nothing was so darn tasty, cold, that there was no barbecue sauce needed. There was no barbecue sauce necessary. The barbecue sauce didn't get touched. It was melt in your mouth perfect. Again, this is the day after it's been sitting in the fridge cold, already sliced, and it was magic in your mouth. So that's why I'm so excited today. Tonight, as soon as I take off these headphones, I am going to be grilling another one of those Wagyu grass-fed flat iron steaks from First Light Farms, the ones that I got at Lazy Acres in Los Feliz. And I'm going to be grilling it and serving it immediately with some grilled asparagus, which is really easy. It's just grill it 1 minute on each side on high, and they come out great. And it'll be the first time we try those flat irons hot off the grill. Now, again, another tip with steak that I just have to let everyone know. You do not cut into your steak right away. You let that rest for 10 minutes. Doesn't matter how you do it. Otherwise, all the juices are coming right out. But that's why I'm so excited today. And it's got me thinking a lot about steak. So this is where I'm going to open up the phones to all the steak lovers out there. Whether you make your own steaks, whether you have a steakhouse that you love to go to, tell me all about steak. If you want to tell me your favorite cut of steak, how you like to prepare it, give me a call, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you have a steakhouse in Southern California or really anywhere, because, my two favorite steakhouses are not in Southern California, best place you've ever had a steak, give me a call. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. One of the best steaks I ever had was at an Argentinian steakhouse in Costa Rica in 2014. And what's that stuff they put on every plate in Costa Rica? Lizano, that sauce. It's even good with steak. But the best steak you've ever had, give me a call, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you're a steak aficionado, tell me your favorite cut, how you like to prepare it, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Carl in San Gabriel. Carl, hello.
Yes, sir. Hey, I am here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're on.
Can you hear me? Let's see. Let me get in there. There. I think I hear you. Yeah.
Tell us all about steak, buddy.
I'm an aficionado. Oh, man. So, hey, I wanted to tell you about Randy. I wanted to tell you about the rub. I had a great coffee rub. I didn't think that would be good at all, and somebody turned me onto that. I think it's from Firehouse. You get it online, and it was Firehouse dry rub and a little bit of the salt and black pepper to give it a really nice crust. But, I got to tell you about this steak sauce. It's Prime Steak. It's called Yellow, and it's out of, I think, the Bronx. It's a fine Italian market that's a little old place, and I have it shipped to me from New York. And it is kind of a tomato base, but it's not. It's a steak sauce. But my wife just dies for this stuff. It's so good, and it's Yellow's Prime Steak Sauce and Marinade, and I'm just about ready to buy some more of that. But I went to Argentina, and I kind of had a nice lesson on getting a good char on everything, and doing the proper rubs, and it's fabulous. But I was up at Sutter's Mill. I went to a steakhouse up there, and they did a steak for me, but it was quite a few years ago, and I don't think the place is there. But wow, it was a ribeye, and they did so well with that. That's where it got me into putting a crust on my steak. So I hope you enjoy your steak. Seems like you're doing the right things.
Oh, and I'm writing down notes right now. What you're telling me, a coffee rub sounds fascinating, and Ciriello's Prime Bronx steak sauce. I'm gonna see if I can find a bottle of that. That sounds great. Yeah, a big crust is so unbelievably important. It's all about a high heat sear and then letting the rest of the meat cook evenly. I love it, Carl. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. We're talking steak today because I'm about to have one. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you make steaks at home, tell me what cut you love to do, how you love to prepare it. Are you a grill person? Are you a cast iron person? Something else. Give me a call, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. And maybe there's a steakhouse anywhere in the world you want to shout out. Tell me the best steak you've ever had. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Get on the phone right now. We're talking steak today because I feel like it. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's steak night, and we're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I am about to grill up an incredible Wagyu flat iron. I want to know your favorite cuts of steak to cook at home, how you like to prepare them, and where is the best steak you've ever had. Give me a call right now, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We're going right to your calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most. And right now, the issue that matters most is steak. I'm having a steak tonight, and all I want to talk about is steak until I sign off at 6 o'clock. So if you are a steak aficionado, tell me your favorite cut of steak and how you like to prepare it, or tell me your favorite steak you've ever had, the best steak you've ever had anywhere in the world. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Kristen in San Marino. Kristen, hello.
In the middle. If it's on the sidewall, no. They have to get a new tire, but that's fixable.
Kristen?
Oh,
hello.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi, you're on the radio.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Thank you so much for answering my phone call. What's the market's name that you got your flat irons from in L.A., the prepackaged ones that were – I want to know because I want to go buy some.
So it's Lazy Acres. I had never heard of them before until I saw that they were on Instacart. They only have a few locations in Southern California. They've got one in Los Feliz. That's the one I went to. And that one is on Franklin and Western. They've got one in Long Beach, and they've got one in Hermosa, and they've got one in Santa Barbara and Encinitas. But I was really, really impressed. The company that they source from is called First Light Farms. They're prepackaged 8-ounce portions, which is perfect because that's enough for one person or two people, depending on how much steak you eat. I'm a big fan, and they weren't very expensive, and it's grass-fed Wagyu flat iron. You can't go wrong.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just looked it up. And, yeah, it's not – I mean, I live in San Marino, but that's easy to get down to. Just not on a Friday night with too much traffic. But they're open – it says they're open till 10 p.m., so that's great. I can go when the traffic gets lighter.
Oh, yeah. We've been going
Thank
on
you
like a
so,
Saturday
so
afternoon.
much.
You got it. Anytime. Give us a call back. Thanks so much for the call. We just did this on a lark because why not? And I was like, hey, why don't we just go there instead of Instacarting and the person not getting exactly what we want, which usually we have no problems with Instacart. But it was like a Saturday at 2:00 and the freeways were open. I was like, all right, not used to this. And then as we were driving back at like 4:30, you could see the traffic going into Hollywood starting to pile up, and the traffic going out of Hollywood was non-existent because there's nothing to do in the valley at night. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. We're talking steak. If you like to make steak at home, tell me your favorite cut, how you like to prepare it, or tell me the best steak you've ever had anywhere in the city, county, state, country, world, because I do like to travel. Let's go to Dave in Villa Park. Dave, hello.
Hello. Well, first I want to clarify, let's make sure we're talking to people that are overweight, because I don't like taking food recommendations from skinny people, all right? And I'm a little bit overweight, so I know what's going on here with steaks. And the best steak that I've ever had is at the Del Rey in Pico Rivera, California. And they have a pepper steak that is wonderful. Their saying is that it's often copied but never equaled. And you can do it in a filet. You could do it in a New York, depending on what type of texture that you want. And their pepper sauce is absolutely wonderful. They make it every day. It's a good red roux that has shallots in it and onions and green stuff, and it is absolutely wonderful. And to even start there with their escargot or their oysters Rockefeller prior, or one of their hard poured drinks. They're making drinks that has a good amount of stuff in it. So that's the Del Rey. That's the best steak I've ever had, and take it from me, I'm an overweight guy.
Well, as in one overweight guy to another overweight guy, I am going to try this. This looks incredible. Flown in from Chicago, Del Rey in Pico Rivera. I love the recommendation.
They are proud of that. They've been bringing in Chicago beef right at the end of the 50s, two brothers. And then when the two brothers got tired, two younger brothers of one of the brothers still run it today, the Smith brothers. The Del Rey and Pico Rivera. Absolutely wonderful. My most favorite place in the world.
I love it. Thanks so much for the recommendation, Dave. Appreciate it. Del Rey, if you want to look it up, DALRAE.com in Pico Rivera. Okay. Adding that one to my list. Got to get there. Let's go to Christian in Montebello. Christian, hello.
Hey, Randy, longtime listener since McIntyre in the Morning.
Oh, wow.
And we met at a Gelson's once, so big fan.
I remember you. Yes.
Yeah, the one out in Century City.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm the executive chef. Anyways, two things. Lazy Acres is, to me, the greatest grocery store in the world. It's like
this
Disneyland
hidden gem that nobody knows about.
I usually go to the one in Encinitas on the way to San Diego, and I always have to get their chocolate chip cookie. Have you tried their chocolate chip cookie?
I haven't yet, but I have been tempted every time I walk past it.
No, it is the greatest chocolate chip cookie in the world. But my favorite cut of steak, I have to go with a nice New York. And I have a certain technique that I use when I cook it. I like to season well and get the cast iron real hot, like you said. I get a nice sear on one side for about 2 minutes. I like to throw rosemary, fresh thyme, fresh garlic in the pan, and then flip it, get another sear on the other side, and then I like to finish it in the oven for about 5 minutes, and then I take it out and let it rest.
Oh, I like that. What temperature do you have the oven at when you're putting it to finish in the oven?
I usually go for 375, and I only leave it in for about 5 minutes because I like my steak medium rare. But I found that finishing it in the oven, it's a lot easier than cooking it on the stove top, especially if you're doing like chicken. You get a nice sear and then finish in the oven. That's what we do in the restaurant business. We get that nice sear and then just throw it in the oven, let it work, and then take it out, let it rest.
Oh, I totally agree with you on that. And in fact, I haven't done it for steak because we usually get really thin cuts of steak that you can do on a cast iron really easily. But for pork tenderloin, that is my tactic. I sear it on all sides for about a minute on each side, and then I throw it in the oven at 375 to finish it off, and it is perfection.
Yes, you always get a nice, good cook when you finish in the oven, because sometimes on the stovetop you could start to burn or get too much of a sear. So my technique is always like to finish in the oven.
I love that. I'm going to have to try that the next time I steak it up, buddy. Thank you so much for the call. And next time we have a remote, I hope you come out.
Yes. Glad. Nice talking to you again.
Love talking to you. Thanks so much for the call, Christian. Appreciate it. I love that. Executive chef calling it. I remember him. He showed up at the Gelson's remote in Century City. We got a few remotes coming up in the next couple of months. We will let you know as soon as we are able to announce. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. We're talking steak because I'm about to cook one in about a half an hour. I'm so excited. I'm grilling it, and I'm going to have it, and it's going to be great. 800-222-KABC. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We'll get to your calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Monica in Irvine. Monica, hello.
Hi, Randy. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to talk about the perfect steak restaurant experience. Imagine a lovely Saturday night. You enter the restaurant to be greeted hospitably, whisked away to the perfect table, followed by getting served with piping hot sourdough bread with the perfect crust, accompanied with butter and sea salt as you prepare your palate. And tonight it would be time for the perfect ribeye that you can find at Mastro's. Upon serving, piping hot with the marble bubbling, with butter and salt, you take that first bite and just cherish each chew of that bite and relish it. The marbling with wrapped within the perfectly cooked ribeye meat. It's to die for. And to avoid feeling too guilty, you accompany this majestic steak with grilled asparagus on the side while you continue to have your starch of freshly baked sourdough bread. But that perfect ribeye from Mastro's, of course, you must have that with a bold glass of red Cabernet wine as those flavors dance in your palate. To die for, absolutely delicious. And at one point, I'm actually, if you can transport yourself to Morton's, at one point they had the most luscious chocolate mousse dessert. Nice dark chocolate with made from scratch whipped cream, accompanied with a book during this experience. That's typically how I experience my steaks, which are perfect, but it would be more perfect if John Phillips was sitting right across from me. And that is the perfect steak experience.
Monica, I was already hungry and now I'm practically starving. That sounded so good. I love it. Thank you so much for the call. As always, appreciate it. If you're on hold, stay on hold. More of your calls coming up next. But first, 790 KABC welcomes Elden Ring Symphonic Adventure, featuring music from the multi-award-winning video game at the Dolby Theater on October 11th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com. That's today. But right now, call in number 9 at 1-888-795-2222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Needlander Concerts. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Guy in Laguna Beach. Let's go to Joe in Dana Point. Joe, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great.
Wow, what a topic, man. So here's some great suggestions. Number one, Bourbon Steakhouse in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. It's right next to my house in Dana Point, and they are absolutely wonderful, and the wine selections are just amazing. And then I would have to say Arnie Morton Steakhouse in Chicago is probably one of the world's best, if not the Majestic in Kansas City. The Majestic is wonderful, old school, and probably the best steak ever would be at my house. And not my house in Dana Point, my house down in Baja, Mexico.
Oh, that sounds like a party right there. I love those recommendations. Thanks so much for the call, Joe. Appreciate it. Now, when it comes to my favorite steak in the world right now, and I have not traveled much of the world, but I'm going to be working on that over the next 40 years. But currently, shocker, my favorite steakhouse is in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's Market Steer Steakhouse, the website marketsteersteakhouse.com. They just got named by Santa Fe Reporter the best steakhouse in Santa Fe. They just got named the best fine dining in Santa Fe. It is incredible. They do a 10-ounce prime flat iron, and you can get a different dipping sauce. And they have an entire sauce flight, including béarnaise, truffle butter, peppercorn demi-glace, horseradish caramel, smoked blue cheese butter, roasted Fresno chimichurri, a caramelized onion demi-glace, their own steak sauce. It's incredible. Bartender told me a great tip. Order the fries first with the sauce flight so you know what you want to dip your steak in. And for an appetizer, they have this smoked bone marrow with Texas giardiniera on buttery toast, and then when you finish it, they let you do a luge of whatever liquor you want down your gullet on the bone. It's incredible. Thank you all so much. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.